It's now time for Big D Energy with four-time Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty and the golden voice of Neal Ruhl. Live on the Woodward Sports Network, 99.1 and 93.5 The Roar, the Woodward Sports app, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let's talk some sports. It's Big D Energy.
Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Another week of Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Big D.
My name is Neal Ruhl. That guy back in the fold, of course, he is D-Mac, Darren McCarty, four-time Stanley Cup champion. Four-time Stanley Cup champion. We got Sam Flannel in the house. He's on time. He's on budget. You know we got Spencer Raxter here in the building as well, making it all crispy on the ones and twos. And most of all, we got you guys here. And remember, you can tap in if you're watching on our YouTube channel, on the YouTube chat thread. Get your thoughts in there. Explosive viewership, explosive listenership, certainly over the last week of the NFL draft. We have that. We will recap now that we have the full picture. Oh, yeah, the Red Wings were in the news as well. Man, who am I going to talk to about what's going on with the Red Wings? Is there anybody in this building that maybe we can talk to?
It's not really ringing
all right, Spencer will work on it. We'll get it all figured out.
I got two guys.
Okay.
Two guys later. Yeah. D-Mac's going to tell you exactly what he thinks, and then Darren McCarty will also let you know for the rest of us of, bottom line, I told you so. That's pretty much it. I might have the playbook a little bit, so we'll dive into that. And I've had some very interesting response to Twitter, which I like. And you have to understand, I'm going to take you into a bigger picture dive of this, because really what Jeff Blashill was up against is he was fighting a losing battle from day one. But he did a heck of a job. And at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, remember that he is a Red Wing. So to me, it's a little bit different than other things just because of winning in Grand Rapids with this team. But you know what? I'm going to save that for the second hour. And we will. In the second hour, we're going to get into that and what's going on, what it looks like, what you guys think, what you guys want, all of it. And it seems like the people are happy today. See, Rob. Neal, it looks like the missus dressed you this morning. What does that mean? I don't know. This guy got a hoodie and a Tigers hat on. The American League worst record Detroit Tigers, by the way.
Only 3 games out of second place, though.
Can we talk Tigers for here we go. Here's our Tigers for the day. They're not very good.
They have the worst record in the American League.
Worst record in the American League.
We will move on. It wasn't a very good week. We will move on. I was told over 78.5 is a lock. That's what I was told. Well, hey, we'll talk about that later in the week, all right? We got a lot of stuff to get to here today. Certainly, we're going to talk NFL draft, as we said. If we have time, too, some thoughts on the USFL. You guys lied to me. And we have proof, right, Spencer?
Yes.
We have proof that you guys lied to me. We'll discuss as that rolls on.
You know what? The interesting thing is I saw Paxton Lynch's name come over my feed, so I threw the game on. I mean, they got me at Paxton Lynch. And Michigan Panthers, so yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Good to hear Tammy Chin doing better, too. I know she was under the weather for a while and says that she's feeling better right now. And big shout-out, Tammy Chin says she's home right now, bags of fluids.
Spent her and Dan's anniversary in the ER, so, glad to see her doing better.
You know what, Tammy? While it sucks, at the time it sucks, no doubt. 12 years from now, when you're at your anniversary 12 years from now, you'll point back and you'll say, remember the anniversary we were together in the ER?
Yeah,
for real, you will.
Only you and I, honey.
Yeah, that's the way it is. No, but Tammy, good to have you back in here. You were missed, by the way. You were absolutely missed. A lot of people were talking about it and everything, but we are happy to have you back. Skipper Sone says DCFC too. Detroit City FC got another win as well. The train just keeps rolling.
Yeah, it does, but I think as we were talking about, not at some big costs, and we mentioned it last week with DCFC playing so well, but playing a lot of games that injuries might be a factor, and it looks like they might have been bit by the injury bug.
Our friend of the show, Antoine Opino, did pop a hamstring in that game, so we'll see what the extent of that injury is. John Marks, Detroit City FC, 9 games unbeaten. When was the last time the Tigers, Lions, Red Wings, or Pistons went 9 games unbeaten? Well, it's been a while. I'll say it like that.
It's been a while.
54?
Right.
I don't know.
Can we nip this one in the bud, too? See, Rob, because I got a little bit of this on Twitter. How do you feel now that the Lions didn't draft Malik Willis? I feel fine because, as Brad Holmes said when he talked about it, he said the quarterbacks went where we had him evaluated. And speaking of social media, I got a lot of these, too. Brock Agee, I guess it is. Now, back in November, he called me a Go Blue hater. Conveniently, I think that was after the Michigan-Ohio State game. So he checked back in with me. He said, you coping with the Michigan man being picked? You need a tissue? Which, what did I say? Did I say, at all costs, do not draft Aiden Hutchinson? I don't recall that.
No.
I said, I lean Kayvon Thibodeau,
Yeah.
as a lot of people do. But if you don't go that route, you take Aiden Hutchinson. But you know what? I'll play your part, Brock. I'll play the part right now. Here's the deal, Aiden Hutchinson. You make the same amount of money Nick Bosa makes now. And Sam Flannel, this is directed at you, too. We're in the NFL. Now, you haven't signed the contract yet. I understand that. This is the National Football League now. I don't care where you went to college. I don't care what you do in your private life. I don't care about any of that. On Sundays, starting in September, get to the quarterback in the same fashion that Nick Bosa does because you make the same money he does. This is professional football now. This is the National Football League. You are the number 2 overall pick. Got to get to the quarterback, man. That's it. That's not Michigan related. That's not Hater related. That's not local kid related. All that stuff. This is what's always dynamic about the draft. D-Mac, this is what's dynamic about the draft to me is we go through all these mocks and everything and wondering where everybody's going to go. Now everybody's drafted. You're in the same, theoretically, you're in the same spot as everybody else when training camp starts. Now you have a little more rope because they have $10 million per year invested in you, but it's all the same for everybody now. Like all that Michigan man stuff and local kid stuff doesn't mean anything if you don't produce. That's the nature of the National Football League.
I love this tweet thread or whatever you call this. You know, like people don't listen. Like Rick says, people don't listen. You've never even said that. It was always be prepared. But when I look in and I see juices, go see Neal. Even I admit you catching too much flack on this. That's
Thank
like
you.
The gavel was just put down.
The judge
he's
spoke.
gonna ride your butt so hard. But here's the thing: it's because your opinion is not pro Michigan or whatever else. You call it like I do. You've always called it like you see it. If as Sam says, with new information is presented, you can change your mind. But Neal, you're exactly right. Because the minute that he does not produce or the numbers aren't there to what it should be, you're the first one that's going to call him out on it. So I think we sit here and we're happy because they had to go defensive end. What did we say all along? Whoever Brad Holmes and they valued at that number 2 pick, if they were going to choose them, I'd be good with it.
That's what it all circles back to,
it, right?
That's what it all circles back to because we sat in this chair and I said I have 100% faith in Brad Holmes and what he does. If he feels as though Malik Willis isn't in play, which certainly he didn't, I'm cool with that. If he feels as though he wants to go Aiden Hutchinson over Kayvon Thibodeau or whoever else, I'm cool with that. If he wants to trade, and look, there are certain media pundits in this town, and I try to keep this clean. You know, I try to be like respectful. Hey, there are certain media pundits in this town that were out there framing this whole Jameson Williams thing. Like, what are they doing out here giving up 3 draft picks to get Jameson Williams? Let me lay this out, how this really all worked out in plain English for everybody. And I know some of you listen sometimes, so before you guys go to do your show, here's some facts for you, all right? They did not trade 3 draft picks for Jameson Williams. What they did was they traded a 3rd-round pick and moved back 12 spots in the 2nd round to move up 20 in the 1st round. That's what they did.
Oh, I think it's just not.
No, they kept their 2nd-round pick. They just went back 12 spots.
Here's the thing: which one of those picks they used was the pick that they got from the Rams for Stafford, right? Which was the 32nd pick, correct? What if that pick was in the 20s and then you had a 20, like you had more value than to make the trade to make it feel out. So everything sort of worked out the way it is. But immediately when they moved up, Neal, when I was sitting there, I was like 2 guys. You know, it's either Williams or it's Jordan Davis, right? To move
I was Kyle Hamilton,
or
yeah.
Kyle Hamilton, right? And you look at the way the draft played out, what happened, Lions move up and take Williams, which wide receiver, which automatically goes in the Amon-Ra St. Brown category of affordability, first contract, making less on his contract than Kenny Galladay is in September, correct? Or maybe he's making a little more because he's a first rounder. But the fact, and then who went right after that? The other two guys, Hamilton and Davis. You know what I mean? Like when drafts sort of play out, and we're going to watch this in the NHL draft where Steve Yzerman and the Red Wings have enormous amount of picks about maneuvering back and forth, right? Maneuvering back and forth. So what they actually did was brilliant, in my opinion, because they took they protected their draft. Like they protected their salary cap, right? By getting this wide receiver, which we know the way wide receivers are getting traded around, the money that they're signing for. This is huge, not just on a talent point, but also this even gives you, to me, the glaring lights, the fact that whoever the quarterback is that they want to pay the money to, they'll have the opportunity. The conversation down the road is this a Goff thing or is it somebody else? Well, what they're doing with the money, the way that where they're drafting players and where they're getting the talent and getting things tied up, it proves that if they wanted to go get Aaron Rodgers at $50 million, the books will be correct to be able to do that if that's the way they want to go.
And here's what they did, too, with Jamison Williams. And they did do a Malik Willis with Jamison Williams. To me, because you guys, look, you know where I stand with this stuff. It's not the player. It's not the player. When you got Tyreek Hill getting $30 million a year or whatever it is, hell, A.J. Brown got $25 million a year. $25 million. When you got these cats getting that kind of money, if you're in a spot where you can slide up and get Jamison Williams for under $5 million a year, because that's about what it is. It could be a shade under, it could be a shade over. I can't remember exactly. But we'll just call it $5 million a year. $5 million a year for Jamison Williams. In a league where A.J. Brown just got $25 million a year, that was a Malik Willis move. To me, that was their move. That was along those lines. It's about value and rookie contracts. That's what it was. And if you can do that, and it costs you a third-round pick, number 66 overall in the draft, because that's what it did. That's all it cost. Apologies to everyone else in the media that doesn't understand how this stuff works, but that's how it worked. You gave up a third-round pick to move up 20 spots and to move back 10 picks on your number 34 overall. That's what it was. That's thievery. And I don't know what Minnesota's motivation was to do the deal. Maybe there was nobody that they liked at all. And I did hear these things, that there were teams that had boards that didn't have very many people with first-round grades, so maybe all their guys went, and they're just like, you know what? Whatever we can get, man. Whatever we can get, let's do it. And that's what they did. I don't know. I don't care. I know we have a receiver for $5 million a year in a league where somebody just gave A.J. Brown $25 million a year. I'll ride with that.
What? I'd say, so do you think, is that what it is? Because the trade within the division was the one that sort of, wait, what? The Minnesota's trading with the Lions? But I think to your point, and we talked about it preparing for the draft, is that the grades on these guys on a whole weren't as high as in years past. So, I mean, here's the difference, Neal. You always look for what's different in this regime than regimes in the past, and this is going on 2 years now. Right? Value contracts. Value, and the fact that they moved up, right? So I think everybody with Hutchinson and everything else, we were joking about, when are the jerseys? Are they already out and stuff like this? But the fact that it seemed like a compromise, right, in the front office as far as, okay, we get Hutchinson, but we're gonna be able to move these picks, and I think they got both the guys that they wanted.
Right, absolutely, and that's where it is.
Before we get to the break, I just wanted to let everybody know who's listening on Twitter and Facebook that make sure you go over to our YouTube if you want to keep up with the rest of the show. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on Twitter and YouTube.
YouTube. That's my guy Spencer, who told me to say that, like no more than 5 minutes before we went on air. Hey, man, chef got cooking right there. I'm sorry. You know, I stepped out.
It's all right.
I feel like Will Ferrell in Old School. What happened? I blacked out. You know. Summertime is here, and there's no better way to enjoy a Michigan summer day, if we ever have one, than with Gypsy Vodka. It's gluten-free. It's corn distilled 6 times. It's the smoothest, best-tasting vodka on the market. They got a cool bottle. It's locally made in Petoskey. All those things are true. But here's the thing in my mind that counts the most. When you pour it in a glass with some ice and put some club soda on it, squeeze a lime or two in there, now you are rolling because it's just good vodka. Period. End of story. I don't know what else to tell you guys. Locally made in Petoskey. Gypsy Vodka. It's Michigan's gluten-free vodka. Go to the store. Ask for it by name. And as always, drink responsibly.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
What's going on, everybody? It's Spencer for the Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck. You know it. It's the home of the original football bowling pin game called Foaling. You can go there, host your corporate party, team building event, or just have a good time. 2 different ways you can play. $10 open unlimited play, stay there all day, or $120 lane reservation for up to 10 people. And you know about their $2 mystery beer vending machine. You put in $2, pops you out a good beer. No hassle, no fuss needed, just great beer. You want to make the decision? You know what you like? They have multiple fully loaded bars for you to choose from. So come on down to Hamtramck, see them in person, or check them out at foalingwarehouse.com. Again, that is foalingwarehouse.com.
Off and running, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty. We got Spencer Raxter in the building. We got Sam Flannel. He's got the flannel on. Where are we at? Day 51, right?
51.
We need that tracker. We got to get the people on that one. We'll get the guys to cook that one up. We said once you got to 50, it got real.
Oh, that's when everything gets real. That's when I start having visions of Cal Ripken Jr.
He is. He's the Cal Ripken Jr. of wearing flannel, if that is anything, though. We're talking NFL draft right now. The whole weekend is in the books. Everything is locked down. Aiden Hutchinson, Jamison Williams, Josh Paschal, the second-round pick at number 46 overall. I believe it was Juice's Ghost in the YouTube chat thread that said that was the guy that they had circled anyway. So you got your guy you wanted. Supposedly at 34 anyway. So, yeah, it was a good move. I'll tell you the one, and I guess that's going to be my question to everybody. Who is there anybody that kind of intrigues you? You know, as far as what the Lions did. And maybe it is Jamison Williams. Maybe it is that simple. But I'll tell you what, for me, and this is something that I dig on a lot. The Kirby Joseph pick, the safety out of Illinois. And I get that he's raw from like a safety perspective, has been playing the position for a very long time. 5 interceptions, 3 fumble recoveries. Like the ball just seems to find him. And D-Mac, whatever the sport is, Thomas Holmstrom was a guy I always thought that the puck always seemed to find. He wasn't a great athlete or anything like that. Just somehow the puck always got to him. Somewhere, somehow, Kirby Joseph, whenever he's involved, he seems to get the football.
Well, ball hogs, right?
Yeah.
You know, like there's certain guys, there's receivers that we say that you're looking for guys that just go up and get the football or fight for the football and stuff like this. On defense, that's what you want. And it seems to me, like Tyrann Mathieu, a prime example. The ball seems to always be out around him. You know, you mentioned in his safeties, Troy Polamalu, right? The way that Pittsburgh played him up and down. And there's something to it as far as maybe the vibration in the universe or whatever like that. But goal scorers, I mean, the puck, they find the net. You know, the puck finds them. Guys, the greatest. I play with tons of some of the greatest scorers in history, like a Brett Hull. The puck would find their stick. Now, the beauty is, Neal, this is what you want. You got to have the dog on the back end to fight for that ball, right? To be able to get there. But a lot of it is instincts. When you talk about, in hockey, they talk about hockey IQ or hockey sense. You hear me say this, that one of the things about playing for a Scotty Bowman team is that everybody's hockey IQ had to be on point. Same thing with Steve Yzerman, some of the smartest guys, and it's just the little things and the intricacies behind it. But yeah, some of the best players. You're going to watch the NHL playoffs starting tonight, right? You're going to watch how the puck to certain guys just finds them. And Austin Matthews is a guy who's lead the league in goals and stuff like this, but the puck finds him. Guys in Tampa like the Kucherovs, the Nathan McKinnons and stuff like this. This is why playoff hockey is the best, and football's like it. We watch it in basketball too. Basketball, it's the same way, right? You look at the Steph Currys or the greatest shooters or whatever like that. They get to different spots, but the ball sort of. How many times you see it watching basketball, Neal, where the shot looks the same, whatever, but it didn't come out of this guy's hand, so it doesn't get that bounce. Shooters bounce, shooters roll. We hear it all the time. I think it's the same thing in football, same thing on defense.
Well, how long has it been since the Lions have had a playmaker in the secondary?
Well, you can say
like
Darius
a playmaker.
Slay was a playmaker.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a minute.
Slay was a playmaker on defense. I was automatically went safety or whatever, but it could go back to my early days and Benny Blades.
Benny Blades,
Benny Blades was probably one of the last, as far as safeties, that was more of a Polamalu. Like, he's going to come down and he wants to embrace the run, but he's also going to make plays in the backfield. So, no, it's exciting and it's interesting too, because these are things that you notice. And when you put this IQ, so if we translate the hockey IQ to football IQ, where all these guys on the field, think a little bit different, and they have that Dan Campbell dog in them. That's what I like about Joseph. He seems to have a little dog in him. You know what I'm saying? And on defense, he's not the biggest guy, but he's out there, and you watch tape on him, and he's out there, like you said, the ball finds him.
Ball finds him, man. The metrics point to him. Pro Football Focus loves the guy. I'm not saying that's the end-all, be-all, but I am saying when you look at your third-round pick, 97 overall, and that was the big thing, right? They got 5 in the first 97. Those are the types of moves you can make when you got 5 in the first 97. And then the Jamison Williams move is the other angle of that. In our YouTube chat thread, Janger Banger says, bring Dallas Drake back. No, don't bring Dallas Drake back. Joseph Austin, Neal would have given that number 2 contract to Willis. So much for value. Joseph, I will do this one last time for you, okay? One last time. I'll do it. And we're not going back to this, okay? As I said from minute 1, the idea of the value, which is very similar to what they did with Jamison Williams. The idea of the value is what intrigues me. And if, and only if, Brad Holmes deems that worthy, then we shall move forward. My point of all that discussion was, if that's what he deems worthy, I'm prepared to ride with him. That was exactly where I was at. Because the players are interchangeable to me. What attracts me to what they've done, to what the draft is the rookie contract. That's what it is. Because I go back to it, I will always go back to it. Amon-Ra St. Brown will make less money in his entire Lions rookie contract than Kenny Golladay will make in September. That's the thought process. That's the principle to every word I've ever said on August 9th, the day I started here on Woodward Sports, to September 9th, to October 9th, to today. That's where it is with me. Give me the rookie contract. Give me the $90 million in salary cap in 2024. Give that to me, because that's how you win. That's how you win. It's proven. This is the last time I'm speaking to that, Joseph. That's it. We're done. I've given it to you. I've spelled it out to you. I can't help you anymore. If you can't understand the concept, then there might be another station in town for you to check into. They might be more on your level.
Give me that
My
biscuit.
question
I'm
to
a
you,
very that biscuit.
looking at, obviously the pundits giving out grades and stuff like this, and you see some A pluses. For me,
I think that's a little aggressive.
that's a little much. I don't think you can give an A plus till you do the, you look back 5 years, and that's where the plus comes on. But I'd say it's a solid B plus A. Right, moving into it. I think that here's the thing, right? Coming out of the draft, are you intrigued about training camp and seeing these guys to see what they can do. And for me, it's yes. And a lot of that has to do with because of the belief of the organization behind the players that they picked. And everybody seems to be excited to be here. It seems like, everybody's excited on draft day, but it seems like we're starting to, you put these little pieces together and you put them in your chest and you're going, wow, we got that. Because when the smoke clears, you could possibly have just drafted your next Calvin Johnson.
Well, and here's the other thing, too. And Juice's Ghost, while we butt heads a lot, we're also on a very similar wavelength as far as we think. And on our YouTube chat thread, Juice's Ghost says, wow, that just hit me. And good, because that's where I am with it. We got rid of Kenny Diva Galladay and replaced him with Jameson Williams. I'll even take that a step further, and I'll tell it to you like this. Next year, Kenny Galladay is a $21 million cap hit. You have Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown for roughly about $6 million.
Here's the thing, Neal. You know what you just did? And Juice, you just brought it in. You know what? Yeah, Neal, you know what? Quit comparing fourth rounders, to guys making big contracts because he's only played 1 year. And I know the new guy, but like you said, now you got two guys. Or you can, Galladay? No, now he's Williams because it's pretty much at $5 million the same sort of deal. And when you put them together, that's ridiculous.
It's $6 million.
That's ridiculous.
Out the door.
So that will be, there's the precipice to the baking for moving forward is because, you know what? The reality of getting everything else in place and then just needing the quarterback, if they believe it's not Goff, remember I said that, if they believe it's not Goff, because right now it is Goff, but there's time. And they're putting the things together, and the money looks good.
Cody Engel says, what's the point of having a ton of cap space if you don't use it? Well, Cody, that's the key.
Use it properly!
Well, Cody, they don't have it yet.
Yeah, they have to get it, but use it properly.
There's a two-part cleanup to the Brad Holmes assignment here. Number one, the talent. Number two, the books. They're working on both of them. That's the 2024 season going into it. 90-ish million, depending on how they work things out and what they do.
You know what I just realized? We haven't seen the clock since the draft, unless you guys use it on Friday. You use my clock without my permission.
You put my clock.
That happened before.
But anyways,
we're getting excited. And at the end of this, there's some really big questions to answer because those questions to say, Neal, where are the books at? Where's the salary cap?
And the trend looks like the books are going to be fine.
That's what I'm saying. So where do roughly, without anything big happening, where do they, if they were at like 20-some million going into this free agency season, getting the flowers and moving things around where they are, where are they going to be next year?
Yeah, I would have to take a look at it and see what the story is.
But they're going to be in better position.
They're going to be in better position, no doubt. Mike G says, Rule Breaker was going Herb Brooks again right there. Payback.com. That wasn't Neal, that was Maz and the heavyweights. And Corey, leave the homie alone 100. Spencer raised his hand. He wore it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He's heartbroken. But now the flip side of the coin, though, you'll monitor from a distance what's going on with him.
Yeah. And I feel bad because he's
found his new Carmelo Anthony.
He went to the Titans. They lost A.J. Brown. They lost Julio. Derrick Henry's got, maybe 3 more good years left.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. But I still think he's a great talent.
We gonna see. Absolutely, we gonna see. And, that's my guy, Drake. We gotta get Drake on the show.
Yeah. That would be great. That would be awesome.
Hey, I'll reach out to him. Yeah. I'll DM him like Brooks or whatever that guy is that DM me. I'll DM him like that, a Champagne Poppy on IG. I'll hit him up. Let me tell you about the Sports Marketing Agency. They're spreading awareness about mental health and substance use disorder. They have a new podcast entitled This is the F Word that helps spread awareness on fentanyl and other addictions. Go to thesportsma.com and check it all out. Again, that's thesportsma.com. And here it is, guys. If you're struggling, and the statistics say there's somebody right now listening to this that is struggling, if that somebody is you, go to thesportsma.com. If it's somebody you know, however we can make a difference, let's do it, everybody. And it starts with the Sports Marketing Agency.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Putting on a show here, and that's how you answer.
We love our sports. We just wish they'd love us back. Detroit sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports.
We're back at it. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. We'll have two responses to the Jeff Blashill situation, one by Darren McCarty and one by D-Mac coming up in the second hour of the show. We're talking to two people here today. We have a panel of experts that we will discuss the whole Jeff Blashill scenario. And I do have to give, and look, we talk throughout the weekend, all of us here. We have a little text thread that we give each other our thoughts, our opinions, suggestions, show topics, all of that. And D-Mac, and look, I said there was going to be a pound of flesh, and there was. D-Mac brought up some points, and he'll bring those up in the second hour, where it really kind of talked me down because I was in that bloodlust crowd where I was like, okay, yeah. You did bring up some good points, and you brought me back in. And sometimes, you
That's
do
what
that.
we do.
Sometimes you do that. It's
it
weird.
doesn't just work one way. Yeah. Every now and then I reciprocate.
Every now and then.
99 out of 100.
Yeah, absolutely. But we will discuss that coming up in the second hour. You don't want to go anywhere. We got an action-packed show for you here. But we're wrapping up the discussion on the NFL draft. And here on our YouTube chat thread, you guys are jumping in. Chuck says, what happened to hashtag 2023? Thought that was a 90 million year. Now it's 2024. Yes, the cap year. I was talking about the talent replenishment. I wanted to give Brad Holmes a couple drafts to get things rocking and rolling. Since you asked, though, I'll respond. As they sit right now on the books, about $33 million in cap space for 2023, depending on what they do. Jared Goff will have just under a $31 million cap hit. Taylor Decker right around 18. Frank Ragnow 16.5. Romeo Okwara 14.5. Michael Brockers at 12. Ooh, that could be a candidate right there. Yeah. I'm just saying. Tracy Walker at 11.3. Vaitai at 11.2.
That's a guy too.
I know the line's really good. I know it is. But, that's a lot of resources being used up there.
Yeah, but there's a couple of those guys. Vaitai is going to come off.
Jeff Okudah at $10.7 million next year. So, and I know it's cute. And we all love Ryan Armani. We do. I love Ryan. He's a friend of mine.
Ryan's the man.
Yeah, do anything for you. And I love the bottom line.
Yeah.
And I understand that they're excited about Jeff Okudah and how he could be a contributor. And I hope they're right.
Me too.
I hope they are. However, if he's not this year, then you have to take a look at that.
Yes.
Is that fair? Am I being a hater?
No,
I think that's fair. Is that fair, D-Mac?
No, I think that's fair. You got to see at least something. You got to see something, and the biggest thing for Jeff Okudah is what, Neal? Availability.
Availability, man.
Availability is number one. So we'll see. We're all pulling for the kid. But, again, questions to be answered. And I think that these are the ones that nothing's written in stone. Right? Nothing's written in stone, and I think that's the beauty of it, is that some of these guys come out, what did we learn last year? Hey, you're going to get an opportunity. Hey, a lot of 1-2 year contracts. Hey, this and that, go out, play, produce, and see what you get. And, yeah, we got a lot of guys back from last year's team, but it's a lot of the guys that showed different things, especially second half of the year.
I like it. Rob Swift says that's fair. I like it when we have banter, constructive banter like that. I'm willing to give. I'm willing to compromise.
Well, here's the one thing which I love when we're having conversations is it's the Sam Flannel with new information. Okay, let me process that. And then you don't have to always agree, but at least if you're thinking about it when it does change, you don't have to die on a cross that you don't believe in. I mean, that's what too many people are just like, oh, I chose red. I know it's blue, but I'm just to be stubborn to stick to red. No, things change. Injuries change things. Coaches' situations change things. Just taking the deeper dive. That's if you care. If you don't care, then you're going to stick to that opinion.
Right. And that's the way it works. Robert Colosi says...
I hate olives. There you go. It's true.
Robert Colosi says, I'll be amazed if Okudah comes back strong from the Achilles. That will be some tremendous physical therapy, rehab, and work by the conditioning coach in the physio department. And to spin off on that, you guys have heard me talk. One of my friends was with the Lions for a long time in the athletic training department. And I asked him about the Jamison Williams thing. Because actually, ironically enough, he and I were texting about it the night.
Isn't it ironic?
Yeah, the night that it happened, he and I were texting each other about it. And I was like, obviously you don't know the medical, it's just kind of your thoughts. And he told me that night, he said, it depends on if it's just the straight ACL tear, no big deal, not a concern. If the structure that surrounds the ACL, if that's compromised, then there's a problem. And that is the difference. Like when we see, and I follow back up with them this weekend, we were talking again about it. He said in his mind, this is just his own educated opinion without access to the records or anything like that. He said what it tells him, what the Lions did, is that the structure around the ACL is fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine to the point where you will invest a third-round pick and draft capital, the 12th overall pick in the draft to take them.
Well, doesn't it the way that it happened, and even with like how many times did we comment where the Lions could not get to the podium fast enough?
Right.
It was like the Lions had the first overall pick and were waiting all summer, or since the end of the season, and they knew who they wanted.
Well, D-Mac, who moved quicker? Who
Sure.
moved quicker, the Red Wings and letting Blashill go, or the Lions going up to the podium for their pick?
I'm going to even say the Lions, because the Blashill news didn't hit till like noon.
Right.
Right, but what I'm saying is that in both first-round picks, and the same thing with the trade, right, with moving up in the trade, these were two moves that exactly what you're saying is that they did their due diligence. And no matter what, these are the guys that they wanted, right? Absolutely, no matter what, top two guys on their board or top three, if some of the other guys went before them. But when they saw this, I guarantee it was a conversation. Any opportunity, because it goes back to the due diligence and the conversations, having them in. If you don't think the doctors who are say what you want about the Ford family, but the Henry Ford medical community is bar none. Trust me, they put me back together an enormous amount of times. Saved my life from a collapsed artery in my hand one time after practice where I had to go get a emergency surgery to blow the artery up or whatever like that. God bless all those people. So the due diligence on the medical end, not even an iota of concern about him being okay. And your friend with his medical opinion without seeing the records, tells us all. And that's why the line, it wasn't him and Han, it was boom, boom. Everything was boom, boom, boom. They knew what they wanted.
Yeah, and he's somebody whose opinion I value. I mean, he's been at Hall of Fame inductions with guys that he's taken care of. So, that it carries some weight. I'll just say it like that.
That's a bigger thing than anything. And I think because you only hear things behind professional teams until they go wrong or until there's a misnomer. The first one that comes to mind is the Jack Eichel, who was the captain of the Sabres, and the neck surgery wanted to get it, and the Buffalo team doctors, and then he ended up getting traded to Vegas. So it does happen, but one of the things I'm most confident in is the Henry Ford healthcare system. So it'll be exciting on that point. I never even, when they drafted him 12, Williams, immediately I went, oh, his leg's good.
Right. That's what it is.
Like, it might take him a little bit to get back, and I don't want to see him rush. I know he's saying that training camp and stuff, but if it benefits to keep him out a little longer, I'm not willing to rush. But in the long term, he's going to be okay.
More talk about Jeff Okudah here on the YouTube chat thread. Rob Swift says it's a make or break year for Okudah. Does he have to play like a $10 million corner? No, but he has to play like a $6 million corner. But Rob, I would say, he does got to play like a $10 million corner because, Rob, that's what he is. And again, this isn't the National Feelings League or the National Good Story League. It's National Football League, man. And look, I hope he comes back. I want him to come back because if he comes back and he's a good football player, that helps the Detroit Lions. I want him to come back. I do. But at the same time, it is business. And you're only allocated so many dollars.
No, and that's it. And here's the one thing, too, is that you got to always remember, this is not a Brad Holmes draft choice. So he has no moral obligation to make it look good, like as if he chose him in the first round, right? To make himself look good because it's his pick. So it's either put up or shut up.
At K Sports Live says Okudah hasn't been given a fair chance yet. Let's give the kid a chance, everyone.
He hasn't been healthy.
But K Sports, here's the thing, man. Like next year, as we talked about the salary cap situation, next year, he's the 8th highest paid player on the team. Then the year after that, he's the 5th highest paid player on the team. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is real, everybody. And I know it might be uncomfortable. And I know that it goes against the happy action, fun times, feel good stories. But that's D-Mac, that's what it is. Am I being harsh? Can we get a YouTube chat poll? Am I being harsh about this?
No, you're being realistic.
Because I'm curious to see.
The reality of turning yourself into a good program is getting your salary cap right, getting your draft right, getting your team right, and in doing that, there's always casualties. And good players or high draft picks or people that you thought or believed would be. The whole thing with this, he's not part of the original recipe, right? Coming in and stuff like this, he's a piece that is there. So to me, to them, is he the same thing as having, a guy on the roster that was under contract? It's no different than Eisman coming in and trying to get some of the contracts off the books for the Wings, or Troy Weaver going in with the Pistons. So, but I do believe with the talent, and they're going to give him every opportunity to succeed. That's all you want as a player, right? Even when you've been hurt, is to go out there and get every opportunity. It's not like he's got to fight back from the bottom, right? They're going to put him out there and, you go get it. You go do it, because they want him. They want to pay him $10 million. Neal, tell people that.
They do, yeah.
They want to pay him $10 million.
Right.
It's not like we're saying, we can't. No, we want you to be our 8th and our 5th. We want you to be our 5th highest paid guy. If Jeff Okuda is the 5th highest paid guy, what does that tell you, Neal?
If he's your 5th best player, you're in a pretty good spot.
That means that your defense, which right now we can all agree. See, here's the one thing also that we haven't really addressed as much. But did they not just really take care of one side of the ball, more or less to speak? Is that like offensively, like you really legitimately with the offensive line, the running backs you have, Adden, Williams, different things like this, you have something more on the offense. Now you had Hutchinson, you had some of these defensive guys, the young guys, that Okuda's coming back. You got something to build with. And you got Aaron Glenn there preaching to him.
On our YouTube chat poll, is Neal being too harsh about Jeff Okuda? 70% of you say no, 30% of you say yes. And I'm not saying bag him now, but I'm saying this is Saturday on the PGA Tour this year. This is the moving day for him. Like, he's got to be in a position to do it. David Fletcher says Okuda is trade capital next year. Play well in trade. David, you going to get, even if he plays quote-unquote well, you going to give up anything of value for a 2-year, $20 million cap hit coming off Achilles? Like, that's what it is, guys. And I'll leave it out there. That's why I put on the poll to know if I'm being too harsh about it.
But but what tells me, and I love this about the 70% or 30%, and it doesn't really matter, but it's the fact that everybody sees your cap, because they're saying you're not being too harsh because we see it as far as the money wise. Right, as far as that 70%.
Because guys, you got to understand that's where I live with this. Thing. Yeah, it's not personal.
I want to get him the Okuda jersey.
Right.
I want to bring him in and take him to Lady Jane's for a haircut.
Even better.
Because we broadcast right here. I could have him right here. Say, hey Jeff, what's going on, bro? Let's get the hair all trimmed up. You can do it D-Max style. So it's definitely awesome. Maybe that will get him into style. If not, you guys tune in. Lady Jane's, 168 of them all over the country. All you got to do is walk in, sign in, sit down, boom. Before you know it, you're watching TV, you're watching sports, talk to the girls, who knows. King's Treatment, anything else, you know it. 10 to 8 daily, 7 days a week. Make sure you do it wide, Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome. Big D Energy here on a Monday. Keep her rolling. Be right back.
I got
my diamonds, it's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Sticker Genius. You know how D-Mac loves his stickers. Sticker Genius, the official sticker partner of Woodward Sports. For stickers or signage, think Sticker Genius. Look at the beautiful studio. All Sticker Genius stuff. You can too. And in fact, 24 hours. Bing, bang, boom. They'll slip it away. StickerGenius.com. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, and on our YouTube channel right now, we got a video rolling of Jamison Williams and the rehab work that he is doing, that he is putting in. There is probably no more famous knee in Detroit right now than that knee of Jamison Williams that you are watching on our YouTube channel. So he's getting it in. You see a little bit of lateral movement that he's doing, and
Look at those
doing it
buttery
up.
hands. This got buttery hands.
Yeah.
They're silky. Yeah, it looks good to me. I mean, small twitch fibers and stuff like this, getting the people that listen on radio, getting the feet going, quick feet drills and stuff like this, high knees, doing what he needs to do.
There we are. So
golf
Jeff,
weather out there too, by the way.
well, yeah,
golf
that
weather out
looked that looked nice. We're doing the rehab down south somewhere. Just saying.
Smart.
Yes, it is.
And he's smart. Oh my gosh.
Neal, Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, and of course we have Sam Flannel and Spencer Raxter as well, motoring through a Monday show, flying by, which I figured it would. It tends to on Mondays because there's a lot to unpack. And there was one thing, and look, I know some people were talking about the quarterback situation, right? And while Spencer Raxter's dreams were crushed on many of occasions. Did you tear up? No.
I didn't cry.
I was concerned.
Because we said it, that's what I wanted. I wanted him, but I knew they weren't going to take him at 2. I knew they weren't. And I thought they were going up for him. I really did. I'm so thirsty for a quarterback. Like, so thirsty to not have Jared Goff.
And you know what?
Brett Holmes.
And that's what you said. Yeah. And I started thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, because the discussion that I hear everybody keeps saying is, go get C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
Go get Bryce Young. Like, it's just that simple, where you're just like, yeah, let's do it. And, A, it's not that easy.
No.
Because there are other teams that like quarterbacks, too. B, Bryce Young's 5.5 feet tall, or 5'11", 5'11 and a half, 5'11". There's that. There's C.J. Stroud with you, and I'm not one of these guys where, ex-school positional player here, but there is something with the Ohio State quarterback thing. There is. Sam Flannel.
There's never been a good one in NFL history. Not one. Maybe Justin Fields can turn that around, but the way Chicago's looking, I don't think so.
Yeah, but that's not his fault, more to speak. And I look at it like if the jury's still out.
No question.
I believe in Ryan Day. So, yes, I agree in the past, and when you look at the different quarterbacks coming out of the history, Justin Fields, I'm not a huge fan, but I believe that whole Chicago Bears organization doesn't do him any favors. To me, Justin Fields is more along the lines of a Kyler Murray sort of personality, and it's got to be sort of more to his way. You know what I'm saying? So I think the jury's still out. It's sort of like one of these undecided on his career. But I think the one thing is Ryan Day, and that's why if you respect Ryan Day and the coach, that's why it's a little different. But to your point, the truth is, no, they've never produced a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where I get a little uncomfortable with that whole scene.
Yeah, but I'm always, Neal, you know this, so streaks are made to be broken, right? I firmly believe that. So you got to look a little bit deeper. Now, could there be, the curse, the whole thing? Well, you know what? We all believe that till the Cubs won. Now, if the Lions win again, that we're waiting, there's another curse. But it's sort of, I don't know deeply. And again, I guess it goes back to the head coach and the way that they play. But you're right, red flag.
I like the Ohio State fans in here right now trying to claim Joe Burrow. That's
Here's
pretty.
a great point that I read
funny.
here, right? Because you look at, we're talking Okuda, we're talking Williams and whatever. They both played Ohio State and transferred, right? So they're familiar with each other. And somebody brought up they'll push each other in the rehab room. I just wanted to mention that. Yes, whenever you are hurt, it's so much better to be hurt with somebody else. right? Or somebody else is there. Just morally, that's sort of the bonding time that you can have, and also to be a part of it. Nothing worse than feeling alone, or that the trainer, great trainers and stuff, but the trainer's your best friend for a few months. That stinks. So that'll help motivate and push also, that they look across the room, can go out to lunch, know what they're going through, and have a history to each other.
Sean Messeroli says the disrespect on Glover Quinn is unreal. Glover Quinn was fine. I'm talking about he was good. He was a good dude. Very good with the media. We had him when I was working at a radio station in a past radio life with D-Mac. Glover Quinn, we had him on a couple times. Great dude. I'm talking about, though, a turnover factory. A guy that just, a safety that just creates turnovers, takes the football away, or anybody for that matter, a linebacker, anybody. Just a Detroit Lion that takes the football away. That's what I'm saying. Glover Quinn, great player. Even better person, for sure. Was he that guy? Did he create havoc everywhere he was on the field and stuff like that? Well, he was a very good player. He wasn't that. I'm talking about a ball
You're
hawk,
like a
man.
Polamalu or a Matthew or a...
Yeah, just a guy that makes impact plays.
And the ball, there's something to the ball travel, even some of the best defensive backs, right? The ball fades inside to them a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's supposed to be out, being so precise and stuff like this, where you see where defenders are so good. And, we bring up like a Jalen Ramsey, right? Who is so impressive because even though he keys on the top receiver in the other team, he plays a lot of zone. He takes a lot of third of the field away. So that means you have to be able to break routes, and it's that instinctual. I think that's the whole thing, is that no matter what, it's that instinct of where the ball is going to go and to get there a split second early.
So I guess we're taking the long route here, but Spencer really inspired this one to me, because while he's taken on a lot of hate in the chat thread, that's fine. Spencer can deal with that. He's a big boy. He does raise the question, however, and whether he's doing this on purpose or not, I haven't figured that out, but regardless, he gets credit for it because he made me think about it. So you did do it on purpose.
Yeah, I did.
We're getting to that time, and I'm just saying, so they didn't take a quarterback, which is fine. They didn't value one. Brad Holmes said, no, we don't want these guys, which I'm cool with. That's fine. However, we are getting to the time after this next season is the beginning of that time where Goff has a $10 million out next year. I'm just saying, it's safe to say that between Hockenson, because I was told by everybody here that Hockenson is a $9-10 million a year player, right? Didn't we settled that dispute?
Yes.
So that's TJ Hockenson. Jamison Williams. Amon-Ra St. Brown, while it was very target heavy, he did produce a top 10 running game. Safe to say, like, there's some metrics to judge whether or not you believe in your quarterback. Is that fair?
Yep.
Again, I'm keeping it P with everybody here, right? Like, is that fair?
Pushing P.
Are we cool?
Yeah.
Well, here's the whole thing, too, is that when you read what Justin Rogers says, is that this year, right, which was part of the clock, part of the 2 seasons, with what he's put the talent around him, you're going to get a fair assessment and evaluation, and it's almost even another tryout for Jared Goff. I don't think, everybody, I know that there's a guy coming over and stuff like that, but I think that he's the placeholder, right, until he proves that he can make that next step. And I know he got LA to the Super Bowl and stuff like this, but you're going to need a little bit more here. I don't think that they're 100% sold on him when I read people saying that, Goff's going to make this and that.
See, I don't know, man.
But here's the thing. He doesn't have the contract. He's getting weapons. He's got another year for you to sit here and go back and forth where you don't have to worry that the bag's at the end of it. Doesn't mean they're not going to pay him. Be prepared. They might pay Jared Goff, but be prepared that they might not.
And that is my point exactly. Everyone, just let's get it on our radar.
But here's the whole thing. Aren't you happy that he's not re-signed right now? Because in past behavior is that he's the guy with the 5-year contract and you're figuring out a way how you're going to win with him, right? He's got to figure out a way how he's going to lead this team. Now, I think that as far as a relationship, and yes, there is that relationship, but that's just to get this new colony civilization off the ground.
All I'm saying is this, D-Mac, and everybody else. Again, I'm not calling for it. However,
but here's the thing.
Be prepared and don't be stunned if you start hearing that extension talk.
What happens if he goes out and he proves it to you that you think he could be the guy?
Well, that's even a better question. If he has a good year,
he's got to get every opportunity, so you're going to know whether he is or not, just like the team. So be prepared that if he plays well, you're going to have to do this conversation. But be prepared that if he doesn't, they have plan B.
Here's the deal. You're going to start to hear that. I'm willing to bet. Because it's getting to be that time, right? Next year, he'll be coming into a walk year. It's getting to be that time.
I'm trying to save you from Neal did not say this. He's saying be prepared, right? So I'm going to say
get it on the radar.
I'm going to say be prepared because you're going to get accused for saying that they're going to resign or you want them to resign. No. But what I love is that, hey, just like the Charles Harris's last year, just like no matter what it is, Goff's in the same position. Go out and prove it with these guys, right? Because what are you going to do, Neal, to this offense in the next year? Add a caveat piece, but pretty much with your offensive line, your DeAndre Swift, your running back, your wide receivers, your tight end, right? You got pretty much your offense, except for one or two pieces, set. That's all I'm saying. So here it is. Go out and play, kid.
Well, all I'm saying is the summer of Cintron is here, and now Cintron is available at your local Kroger store. You can pick some up the next time you're out doing the grocery shopping. If you haven't tried it yet, they got a deal going on. You can get 2 Cintrons for just $4 and give it a spin. Everybody, just try it because you'll find what we have found. It's the best tasting energy drink on the market. Cintron is the new energy drink for the active lifestyle. Proud partners with the Detroit Pistons, the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings, of Detroit City FC, other teams as well. Drink it, live it with Cintron.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Glad that we can finally start trying to get the stigma off of mental health that's been there for all these years.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Neal Ruhl here for Wing Snob, and I was told it takes a snob to know a snob. So it's Wing Snob, and it's me. Pretty much a match made in heaven, as you guys would say, right? They got the fresh, the juicy, the hormone-free chicken, the best traditional wings in the game. Great line of signature sauces, Jamaican jerk, the classic, lemon pepper as well. The wings are tossed to perfection in any sauce your little heart desires. When the wings are this good, you're allowed to be a snob. Order online right now. It's lunchtime. Get it in. Wingsnob.com. Wingsnob. We just have better wings? And every day it's a challenge to raise the game to get D-Mac to pop on the Wingsnob one. Dude. I feel the heat too. Like when you look over here.
Yeah, but I'm so enthralled. I can just see you boozing up some wings.
I know, man, and it's funny because I feel that pressure. I do. And as you look over, I can see it out of the corner of my eyes. I'm looking up at the camera, and I'm like, boy, what are we gonna do here? We got to raise the game. Got to make D-Mac pop one more time. There's going to come a day where I let you down, though. Just be prepared.
Oh, I will. I'll let you know, though. I'll let you know. But not today.
Not today was not that day. Today. There's going to be a day where I let you down, D-Mac, but today is not that day. We'll get back into the NFL draft in just a little bit, but I wanted to give this its due diligence, because I believe, and I know this was, look, I'm not saying the Red Wings are hiding from anything, but it's the old media trick where you release news, as the NFL draft is going on, or you put it out there at Friday at 5. Those are some of the classic, public relations tricks that you do. But the Red Wings moved on from Jeff Blashill, and it's a scenario where I said this in the midst of the collapse, where there was going to have to be a pound of flesh for the fans that are out there. And there's two camps with this that I've noticed on social media. There's the pound the table, put the flag in the air and take to the streets and say, yes, we got our pound of flesh. And then there's the other camp that says, hey, he was an integral part of the organization. The deck was stacked against him, which we'll get into some of the things. I'm certainly not here to make excuses for him, and I wouldn't say it's making excuses. It's pointing out facts. But with all that being said, we were wondering who we were going to talk to about this. So I got two guests to come in and give their thoughts. And D-Mac, you said it in our little teaser video that we put out on social media. We have two responses. One from Darren McCarty, one from D-Mac. Which way are we going?
Which one do you want?
D-Mac.
I'll give you the D-Mac first.
All right, there you go. All right. So now, without any further ado, we go over to our Red Wings insider, D-Mac, for his response to what happened with Jeff Blashill.
Listen, all yous out there, what I tell you, all right? I know because I got the playbook, all right? So I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. Exactly. But wait on it. And what Neal said is perfect, right? Because Jeff Blashill, look at how it was done. Distinguished, prideful, stuff like this in the Steve Yzerman in the Red Wing way. He wasn't fired, right? He was released. His contract wasn't extended, which means, look back, it was a 1-year contract, which the writing was already on the wall, okay? And for everybody else, I look back at this and just say history sort of playing itself out, Neal, and it's exactly what Steve has seen coming. Now, I'll let Darren break down everything else because he's a little bit more, I guess... a
little more corporate?
A little more corporate, but seriously, this is part of the rebuild. This is part of the journey. And I love when people bring stats about what happened in the last 20 games of the tenure or whatever. It can't dig deep about the why that has happened. Everybody just goes, well, this, all that, right? So now it's this sort of thing. The way Stevie did it is the way that he's always done it. Respectfully, with pride, right?
With taste,
and showing Jeff Blashill pride. Obviously, he's not happy. He's the parent, okay? Steve Yzerman is the parent, but he has a finger on the pulse. Now, this leaves so many different questions, and we could talk about who the next coach is. But just know Steve Yzerman, right, has hired. Now, remember, Steve Yzerman did not hire Jeff Blashill. He retained Jeff Blashill because what did he see, Neal? Just like we were talking about with the salary cap of what the Lions are trying to do, you got to get the books right. And obviously the coach at that time wasn't the number one priority. He was probably 5. What's pushed up is that it made him a priority this year, and he's not the guy leading the charge. I am 100% confident Jeff Blashill lands on his feet. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not part of this organization in the front office because that's what he means, And I would love, and somebody commented on here, I will. D-Mac will reach out to Jeff Blashill and see if he wants to come in and so I could say thank you to him and just talk about, from his point of view, whether he would or he wouldn't. But this is a good day. It's something that for everybody that needed their head,
their pound of flesh.
Why do you need your pound of flesh when you're garbage? Right? That's loser mentality. That's not winning. It's building. I love that. That's not winning, Joik. It's not. It's absolutely not winning. But this is sort of winning and it's building. And with everything else, we're going to talk later this week we'll go into season review and what's coming down the pipe. I'm going to leave it with this. D-Mac's going to leave it with this because I'm a little heated, and I got to turn it over to Darren. And is the fact that the writing's always on the wall. What do I say with Steve Yzerman? Listen, watch, right? Because I'll say it right now. If I would read the tea leaves on what is next, I think there's not only a whole bunch of Swedes coming into the lineup, I think there's a whole bunch of Swedes coming behind the bench. We're going to leave it at that.
Interesting. Now we will go over to Darren McCarty for his thoughts on Jeff Blashill.
Hey, Neal. Thanks for having me. Hey, this Big D energy.
Four-time Stanley Cup champion, everybody.
Big
Darren
fan.
McCarty.
Hey, little Darren. You know that if you blow smoke on it, it'll come alive. Anyways, that's D-Mac mentality right there. Sorry, he was still here. But no, guys, I mean, this is all part of the process. And I've read on Twitter and stuff, people talking about giving up 9 or 10 goals, never getting by the first round. Do you guys understand that Jeff Blashill was, for a lack of a better term or using an analogy, sort of the Jacques Demers of this era? And anybody who's not old enough but understands, Jacques Demers coached his team late 80s, early 90s. But what did he develop and what did you have come out of that? You had a captain in Steve Yzerman. You had some young players. You had to develop the draft. There had to be somebody.
You had to build defensively because that team gave up a lot of goals.
You had to bring in and get drafted as far as like the Nick Lidstroms, the Fedorovs. You had to get the team in the position to be able to accumulate draft capital, right? I'm a product of the 92 draft, second round. 4-time Stanley Cup champion. You look at from 89 to 95, 96 of some of the integral parts that were drafted to this team.
Dominating the draft,
right? Kenny Holland back in the day doing his early work with Brian Murray and then moving on. So it's all this process. When I see the big picture and the plan, what Steve did in Tampa Bay and putting that team together and going back to Blashill, you can't come out from behind. When I tell you that you're supposed to go to war and fight, you know, you got to, I get it, Henrik Zetterberg's like your number one, but Franz Nielsen's your number two. When you're fighting against Chicago that's got Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane, and then you're fighting with Tampa Bay that's got Kucherov and Point and the Hedmans and stuff like this, you just didn't have the roster to do it. You know, there was a 3-1 lead in Chicago series back in 10 years ago, right, was a legitimate chance, but that was more of the Babcock. So you move into Blashill, and it's just what he had to deal with. I think he did such an admirable job. And when people sit back and realize this, that without the Jeff Blashill era, without the development, did you know that the Detroit Red Wings, the rookies on this team, set the record for most points in a season? Because, you know, the Wallman came in and added some points and stuff like this. But what Mo Seider and Lucas Raymond did, you can't do that without development of the coach. So as a team moving forward, right? As a team moving forward, this is the best decision. I think the writing was on the wall. Since people just want it all now. And all you got to understand, what is apparent more, and I flashed something out on it when I heard, this is the hashtag, a wiser plan. Don't forget it. So now with the things we're talking about with the lines and stuff about the draft and about salary cap and stuff like this, look into Detroit's books. Because what do you got, a ranch house, maybe a 2-door, 3-bedroom, 2-bath with the Lions? You're building that West Bloomfield, Steve Yzerman palatial palace with LCA, with your capital, right? So I think this is the new step. I always go history-wise, right? Jacques Demers to Brian Murray, right? Then to Scotty Bowman. Stevie's going to skip the Brian Murray, which means I don't think it's a recycled guy.
And here's the thing, too. And, you know, as I was talking about that, where people want their pound of flesh with Blashill and all that stuff, I was leaning towards that, where I was as happy as a lot of you guys were out there. But D-Mac brought up a good point to me. And this was something that and it's weird, right? Because he actually got this from me.
I learned. So here's the perfect example, and I think that this goes right to Sammy Flannel, right? With new information, you change your opinion. Because I learned specifically one of Neal's back pocket.
It's a barometer, D-Mac, like how I roll.
I use your barometer to back on you. So feel free to use these sort of things because sometimes that's the way to get through. You got through to Juice's Ghost earlier with the draft capital and salary caps.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too. Like, take into account the 2018-2019 season. Jeff Blashill's 4 highest paid players were Dylan Larkin 1, Jimmy Howard 2, a 34-year-old Franz Nielsen 3, and Danny DeKeyser 4. That's what it was, man.
Are you going to win a 3-on-3 game? Maybe?
There isn't...
In the beer league?
There isn't a fairy from a story that could sprinkle dust on that and make it work, man. Nobody could make that work because that's the reality. And then when you go up from there and you go to the next season and you look and you take a look at what's going on. Dylan Larkin's your highest paid player in 2019-2020. Franz Nielsen's your second highest paid player. Justin Abdelkader's your third highest paid player. Jimmy Howard's your fourth highest paid player. Your fifth highest paid player is Darren Helm. What's the man supposed to do? This is me speaking. This is Neal Ruhl's views. Ken Holland was more responsible for that era of Red Wings hockey than Jeff Blashill was. Period, point blank.
Absolutely.
Because I can go back and show you the books. I can go back and show them to you. Who the hell was supposed to win with that? Who? I'll wait. Tell me what coach in the world would win with that. Nick Saban ain't winning with that. That's just the way it is. And both things can be true. Did the team tune it out at the end? Yes. Was Ken Holland awful at the end of his time here for the Red Wings? Yes. I'm sorry. Did he do a great job assembling Stanley Cup runs and oversee arguably the greatest team in the history of the NHL for an extended period of time? Yes. Was the end a disaster? Yes. And that's just as much on Ken Holland as it is on Jeff Blashill.
Which we're going to get into because, like you said, you know what it comes down to, Neal, a lot of the times is successful. How many times do you see people create a successful business, then sell it off, and then go try to create another one and fail? Right? By doing it the same, doing sort of things the same way. What happens? Things evolve. So we'll talk NHL playoffs that are coming up. But regardless, you know what? Jeff Blashill, you know what you need? No matter what, a lot of time left, Guardian Alarm. You can still get it. Here's how Guardian Alarm keeps you safe and gives you peace of mind. Whether you're home or on the road, 24/7. Yes, local monitoring right from the phone to make sure what is important is safe to you. So, even Mr. Blashill, let's go. Call it 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
On a Monday after a tough weekend for some people and a great weekend for others, it doesn't matter. We can all go to Guardian Alarm. Give them a call, 1-800.
Stay out. Get out of my house.
They obviously have 51 straight days of the flannel. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
Easy
for
you.
Spit it out, Buttercup. Big D Energy. Be right back.
Today, Junior.
In the 2022 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Aiden Hutchinson, defensive end, Michigan.
I'm Kay Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, and also Darren McCarty, three-man show here today. Sam Flannel, Spencer in the building. Also happy to have you all with us on a Monday. We'll get back in to the NFL draft stuff. I did want to take a segment because they are starting today. And I thought they started tomorrow, so that goes to show you where I'm at. But the NHL playoffs underway today. I want to take a segment, man.
You know what?
I know we're not in it,
It's whack because it's May, right? We're supposed to be in the second round or whatever like this.
Right.
We're supposed to be in playoff mode. So it's sort of been like waiting for the NHL playoff to start. I think it's going to be super exciting, but it's been different than any other year.
No, it has. And this Stanley Cup playoff bracket, I immediately go over to the Eastern Conference. And I look at the upper right quadrant of that bracket where you have the Panthers against the Capitals in the first round and the Maple Leafs and the Lightning. The Maple Leafs and the Lightning could be a conference final to go to the Stanley Cup. And we're getting that in the first round. There are some good matchups. I mean, low-key, it'll be a good matchup. I don't know how great the hockey will be, but the Wild and the Blues, they may as well just play a Game 7 and take the winner and save everyone some time. The Oilers and the Kings, there's a storyline there. Speaking of Ken Holland, I think it's time for the Oilers to move to win a series.
It's the two teams with the biggest
most
focus
pressure
on them are Toronto Maple Leafs and Edmonton Oilers right now. So the fact that you mentioned it last night, the Kings aren't going to be a pushover, but the way that the Oilers are playing as of late, I think they're unbeaten in 9. They're playing like the Oilers team that we expect them to be and struggling. But to me, oh man, the Panthers, Washington, I expect the Panthers to move on. But I want to see two things. So in the Eastern Conference, I want to see not just this. I want to see Toronto lose, obviously. And the fact that, here's the thing, Toronto, if you got to, this is the way that you always love it, Neal, at least I love it, is if you got to go through all the hard teams.
And
Toronto,
you
this
can't
might
say
be the greatest thing for them,
Yeah.
is they have to start off with Tampa Bay, because you're going to not only get into it against defending champions, know what you're made of, be pushed to the limit, but it'll give you, if you can get through that, which I don't believe, Toronto can't win a first-round series, right? But if they get through that, then they're dangerous. But if they do, then they still got to play Florida, right? So they're
if they do that, they probably got Carolina.
I mean, at the end of the day, Toronto wins the cup. My hat's off to them because they earn it. But what I want to see more than anything else, quickly, I think the Carolina team's playoff bound. I like the Rangers and the way the Panarin. Calgary, they're playing great right now. I agree with you. It's just 7. That's going to go 6 or 7, probably 7. Minnesota. I like the Avs. They were my preseason pick, but I want to see Battle of Florida, second round, Lightning, Panthers, and the Battle of Alberta.
I watched that game when they played each other for the last time of the regular season. Electric. Game was electric.
You forced me to pull the game up because you text.
It was high level, man. You could tell. It's one of those things where and bringing it back to the Red Wings, like the difference between Florida and Tampa and the Red Wings, but then you flip on that game when they play each other, and you're just like, holy ish, man. Like, those two teams are built different.
Well, here's the thing for the non-hockey fan or whatever, and this is great because you look at the Florida team, you look at the Toronto team, the Tampa team, the Edmonton team, the Calgary team, and the Colorado team. Those are all run and gun, high-flying. Like, anytime they're in the series, there's not only skill but speed. To Gary Bettman, I will call him out every time, but to his version of the NHL, what they brought to the playoffs, it's the most exciting. I'm excited. I love the first round because it's just game, and then every other night. And as a player, you love it too. Right? You're in such a routine because you're either traveling or you're at the hotel. So you're just sitting around with the guys watching hockey all night, getting into that hockey mood. So I like the way this first round plays out. This is why you can never count Tampa Bay out. Andre Vasilevsky. Not just because back-to-back Stanley Cup champions.
And Kucherov's healthy and there and rolling.
It's the playoffs, bro.
Yeah.
It's the playoffs.
He just shows up for the playoffs.
Dude, it's the playoffs. He gets his Bud Light truck. He gets ready, tells them to park it at the end, and they're going to party. But no.
Outside of Connor McDavid.
And to that point, right, let's tie this all back around to the Red Wings. Because remember, Steve Yzerman hired John Cooper, had no NHL experience. Now he's back-to-back Stanley Cup champion going into the third wave. They know what it takes. They remind me so much of us as far as the way they play the regular season, the way they get prepared for the playoffs. So, they got their scare a couple years ago when they lost the first round after winning the President's Trophy, just like we did. They lost to Columbus, and they bounced back from it. So, it's exciting.
No,
it is.
The
number one is that I'll be glued to the Florida-Toronto series.
No question, no question. We can close out the YouTube chat poll. Is Neal being too harsh on Jeff Okudah? 61% of you said no, 39% of you said yes. We'll see. But I do have a question, and just what you were talking about there, it kind of popped in my head. Are the first round of the playoffs always the best? Because it feels that way.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm curious to know where people are at with it. Are the first rounds of the playoffs, for any sport, are they always the best?
Normally
it's the best
for the
in
NBA, no.
See, because it's the best in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think it's the best in the NHL because there's always going to be some kind of storyline. I could see that with you on the NBA because everything usually goes according to seed.
But this year,
baseball, they're pretty good. So are the first round of the playoffs always the first round of the NCAA tournament's the best?
For sure.
I don't care what anybody says. It just seems that way.
Now, does something have to do with because you're getting it underway and because it's so intense, because it's like bang, 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 game.
That's what it is for me. It's because all these series kind of take on an identity.
Yeah.
Right? And we're able to pick and choose, and there's multiple choices. And then for me, not so much these days, since there's so many games to do play-by-play for, but in an earlier time in my life, I lived for those West Coast games.
Oh, yeah.
I live for them.
Well, you do on Saturdays for the
Gypsy, for the Gypsy and Mountain West football. Yeah, the Get Right specials.
5, whatever.
16 and 5.
16 and 5. Oh.
Documented. Sam Flannel documented, is it not?
Yes, and if you actually followed that and won 16 bets and lost 5, my goodness, you'd be on a heater.
Absolutely. And you had a hell of a time, too, because the games were at midnight on Saturday. So what else were you going to do?
Nothing. And you made some money out of that. You could have put your kids through college if you would have just followed Neal's Get Right picks.
There you go. But I'm curious about that, where you guys are at. Initial reaction. Are the first rounds of the playoffs always the best? 53% of you say yes. 47% of you say no. If you're a no voter, why? I guess that's my quick question. We'll take the last couple minutes of this segment. If you're a no voter, I'm curious as to why. Now, if you want to say NBA, Jack Harrington says West Coast college football games suck, Neal. Jack, you're banned from the show forever. Do me a favor. Never listen or watch Big D Energy ever again, because we will not have West Coast college football games or trash slander on here.
Especially when it's paying for the gas in the Range Rover.
Absolutely.
Don't do that.
16 and 5. People would DM me on Twitter while the games were going on. I had to get to the point where I had to put out live tweets to tell you the hedge and try to trap and all that kind of. We got deep on it. Jack, you're one of the OGs of the show. Everyone gets a mistake. I'll let it go.
There's your freebie.
There's your freebie, Jack. You're my guy. You've been around forever, and I respect you. And I enjoy your contributions to the show. I enjoy having you. But don't ever, and I mean ever, slander Saturday night college football, West Coast college football. Don't you ever do that, because when is Mountain West football played?
Mountain West, baby.
You've been warned.
There it is. I think he was warned. But all the games, right? And here's the thing, Neal, because you can choose, right? If there's a series that's on there, like say the St. Louis, Minnesota, you don't have to watch it. There's
no. I'm just going to wait for Game 7 of that one, then I'll tap in.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Until it is, you'll watch series from a distance. I do the same thing in the basketball. Right?
Jack
and I think, and here's the thing, it all depends on the narrative, right? Because something happens in game one where there's a hit, or there's a overtime goal, or there's something that sparks that series that'll draw you right to it.
Jack Harrington says, "Thank you, Neal." LOL. Tammy Chin says, "Oh, you got the eye too, Jack." NFL Draft Junkie. You just put Jack outside that circle of trust. No, that's not true. That's not true. YT Sparty says Neal loves weak fan base football. I disagree with that. I see 25, 30,000 people at San Jose State and at Hawaii and stuff like that. When they're winning, they're a lot like fans here. When they're winning, they're there. They're a lot like USFL fans. We're talking about that when we come back. We weren't going to. You know what? We're talking about it when we come back. The USFL. You guys all lied to me. Every one of you lied to me, and I'm upset about it. I'm going to have to go to the Big Boy Signature Buffet to feel better because it's back, baby. Treat yourself this and every weekend from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at your local Big Boy. All the favorites, 2 kinds of eggs, the bacon, the sausage, Polish sausage, garlic mushrooms. There's grits. There's no cream of wheat, red skin potatoes, waffles, hotcakes, French toast, fruit, and more. All at the Big Boy Signature Buffet. Guys, you grew up on it. Big Boy's a Detroit institution. It is back. Spencer himself had a harsh Saturday night. He'll roll into the Big Boy Buffet about 1 o'clock on Sunday. He'll go to work.
Oh, yeah.
You ain't above it?
I'm ready for it.
He's ready to roll, 1 o'clock. If you're an early riser, 8 a.m., walk in the door. You're ready to go. If you're Spencer, you had a hard night, 1 p.m., walk in the door. You're ready to go. Big Boy, the buffet is back, everybody, at Big Boy, Detroit institution.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings, proud partners of the Detroit Pistons, and exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and great taste, Cintron is your top choice.
Coming down the stretch here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Spencer Raxter, Sam Flannel as well. I'm going off the board on you right here, Spencer. I apologize to it, but I know that you're used to it by now. Yeah. And B, you walk in prepared. Like you're prepared to do your job. You're ready to rock. And so I'm going to do this because we're going to come clean. I'm going to give you guys the opportunity. Look, Jack Harrington made a mistake in the chat and said that Saturday night West Coast college football is garbage. I called him on it. He saw the error of his ways. We're cool. We're absolutely cool. I'm going to give all of you, at least 70% of you, the same opportunity to do the same thing right now. USFL football. Michigan Panthers got their first win. I know a lot of you were fired up. Oh, you weren't. That's right, because in Week 1, the USFL drew an average audience of more than 1.5 million viewers. In Week 2, there was a 57% decline in the television ratings. 57. And judging by the lack of buzz on social media with the Michigan Panthers getting their first win, some of you lied to me when I looked you in the eye and asked you the question, are you going to watch in Week 2? Are you going to watch in Week 4? And Sam, what was everyone's response?
They were like, "Of course we're gonna watch." They would have their chance to kind of gloat at you, like, "Look at me, I'm watching USFL football." But the numbers show there was a 57% decline from Week 1. That is a big, big decline. They lied.
Stunning. That's stunning.
Stunning to everyone but you and I, and Spencer and D-Mac too, because the USFL is not good football. We have the draft going on right now. We have NBA playoffs. We're going to have the NHL playoffs. We have MLB baseball. I've said this a million times. I do not want to watch a league where Shea Patterson is your number 1 pick, and neither do you.
And you've proven it, America. You've proven it. We are undefeated against alternative football leagues that don't feature the best players in the game. Undefeated as a nation. We're undefeated individually. We are undefeated across the board, D-Mac. Did you watch it?
I turned it on for, a couple plays, couple run and play, watch a couple guys get mad at each other on the same team. That was enough, which right? For not I think it's just sloppy.
All right.
And then, there's alternatives too, right? That's the whole thing. Is there's too many alternatives, especially this weekend, but we are a top bougie heavy when it comes to our football. It's either the college, right, which is probably where people are dialed in mostly, and then it's NFL rules today. And that's
the
where
way
our
it's
time
been.
goes. And they'll keep throwing different
That's the way
leagues
it
at
be.
us.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's the way it's been. That's the way it
You
be.
gotta
That's the way
have
it's
a
going to be.
caveat to it, right? You know?
No, you got to have good players. You got to have good players. That's it.
Well,
it's not a secret formula.
Why does he? Because the Arena League's so much more entertaining.
100%.
Because it's its
I
own
do watch
game.
that.
It's almost,
Yeah.
you know, my mentality. It's almost like field lacrosse, which is outdoor, more of a soccer field, and box lacrosse, which is played in the arenas and stuff on a hockey rink. Right? It's more the arena football is more like a box lacrosse game, but the rules are a little different. You know, they changed it so it's entertaining. This football, you're giving me the same stuff, same rules, and what I get to watch that on. You know, I pay attention, must see on Sunday afternoons every week. Why am I going to go somewhere else to watch the same thing? At least the Canadian Football League, you know, and other countries and stuff, but they have different rules. So it can force people to like something that's a little bit different.
And good players compared to the USFL.
But
good
I think the good players, yes, I agree. That's number one. But the fact that there's not the intricacy of the game's change. You haven't given me a flavor of the game, right? I think we're more interested in show me my game, but your spin on it, and I'll give it a chance and I'll put some eyes on it than I will if you just give me something that I can watch or tune into, especially with the NFL draft. Aren't you burned out after draft? If you're dialed in, if you're a Lions fan and then you're all worried, you know, you're emotionally set in like this. I think the big thing, too, is what USFL did wrong is that they're all playing in one space, in one place. I get it why they did it, but they would have been better off to not even play.
If you couldn't get to the cities, then you should have waited to roll it out. You should have just waited. We can close out the YouTube chat poll. Are the first round of the playoffs always the best? 50-50. 51% of you actually said no. 49% of you say yes. We'll call that 50-50. I'll give him another chance, Spencer. Let's do one more. I'll give him one more chance. Be honest this time. Are you still watching the USFL? Yes or no? And look, you guys, I'm not going to fall for it. But you guys can be cute, and you can say, oh, yeah, I'm going to say yes, even though I'm not. And that's fine. You guys can lie to me. But damn it, don't lie to yourself, guys. All right? That's where it is. Don't lie to yourselves. No one wants that. I don't want that for you. I don't want that. I don't want you to feel that when you put your head on your pillow at night and go to sleep. I don't want that for you guys. Be honest.
I agree with Travis and Joseph. I'd rather watch the XFL.
It's the same. See, that take I will not accept.
No, I would rather watch the XFL than the USFL. Right? The XFL had something where it was an intricacy
they
to
tried.
whatever else.
Yeah,
but I would
tried.
say this. I'd rather watch Alabama or Georgia Pro Day than watch any of that. Seriously, to see what the new recruits are. Oh, this guy's good because they're going to see a future of guys that are going to play in the league.
Well, we're going to talk about Georgia in the next segment. But on our YouTube chat thread, Rack, I really tried to watch USFL again yesterday, but those bar rescue reruns were just way more interesting to me. See, Rack's an honest person. He's honest about it. Mr. Poole, USFL was too painful to watch. Tammy Chin says, I watched the game. I had nothing else going on. Jake Wegener says, I'm still watching the USFL. Mike G says, Shea Patterson is a leader and best. Chrome's honest about it. I can only watch the first game, haha. David Mentier, Mountain West greater than the USFL. You bet your ass it is.
Facts.
That's big facts, bro. And look, I love that the Mountain West is on CBS Sports Network. That adds to it to me. It's hard to get to. You got to want to see Mountain West football. There's an accomplishment just finding it. They don't hit you over the head with it.
Yeah.
You got to go look for it.
It's on ESPN, the Ocho.
Yeah, you want Mountain West football. That's how you find it. They don't force feed it to you like these networks with the USFL. You earn Mountain West football. It's not given to you.
I was too busy watching Ozark to watch.
I know. I miss. Yeah, I didn't fire them up. I gotta get to that. YT Sparty. I watched the first game and had to stop. It was just bad.
Agreed.
I don't know if I can continue to do this for everybody, where I try to help because that's what I want to do, D-Mac, because time is precious, right? We can't get more time. We can get more money. We can get more cars. We can get more houses. We cannot get more time. And I tried to help some people. At least YT Sparty saw it and then moved on.
And apparently we can't get more good football.
And you can't get more football unless you have the good football players. Again, the USFL had Steve Young, had Reggie White, had Herschel Walker, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The best players in the game. That's why it worked.
Well, it's that, opportunity. It's contracts because these guys aren't. It's like having a minor league football or whatever like that. And people would rather Neal, seriously though, they'd rather spend time and listen to you and go watch Mountain West and make that much viewing to be a part of something. And everybody's got that thing than it is to invest in something new. Where what are you investing for? Like that's the one thing is where I've turned it on. Do you see something? My question is are there any guys in the USFL on these rosters that we'll see play in the NFL? And when you say no, right, there's the difference, right? When I watched the USFL of old, these are guys that were getting paid and it was an alternative, but these were some of the best guys if they played in the NFL and then they did prove that they were Hall of Famers. So it's not even the same sort of conversation. Because you're not even throwing up. So what are you throwing? A ball out there, in the baseball analogy, or double A ball?
Yeah, probably.
You're telling me it's double A because I'm not even going to see guys out of this.
Well, it was funny because I told you my son is like arena football elite and watches it. I watch it with him on a Friday night on the YouTube channel.
To it. I'm a fan
he likes it because they score. Boom,
it's
boom, boom.
entertaining.
Yeah.
There's something to it, and you can follow it. And
but he was coming up to me yesterday, and he said. Hey, Dad, I forget the guy that was on Last Chance U. Malik. What was his name on Last Chance U, the quarterback? Malik Jones, maybe? I can't remember. But anyway, he hit me. He comes up to me and he's like, Dad, one of the guys from Last Chance U, he was in the IFL last year. He's a quarterback for the New Jersey Generals now. And I was like, that's it. That's it right there.
Right.
He knew who he was, not because he's in the USFL. He knew it because my son watches indoor football.
There you go.
I laughed at it.
There you go.
Malik Henry. Malik Henry, that's what it was.
Right? But which, to your point, I'm going to know more kids coming out of a college program than I am ever playing, right? You're going to hear that name. Oh, where did he play? But to your point, where the kids are, arena football. That wasn't.
He likes it, man.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I can see why you'd like it. I like it.
I like it too.
If arena football game's on, I'll watch it in passing or whatever.
A Friday night, if nothing else is popping, yeah.
But it's different rules. I think when you serve us these sports that we get all the time, and especially when we listen, we eat steak. We eat the Kobe steak of football in this country and the NFL. Right? It'd be like, I'm sure these are conversations to the soccer guys about, the Premier League and then starting a different professional league. Well, it's not the same. Do they get viewers? Do they get people coming out? No, because it's not talented. Why does DCFC, right? Why do they get the support they get? Because they win. Because they have talented guys. Now they have a bunch of guys that maybe have something to prove.
But they have played in the MLS.
But still, they're talented guys, right? All these guys have played on other teams or could play on other teams. So,
Lewis
to your
M.
point, it's talent.
Lewis M. on the YouTube chat thread. I'll admit, Neal, I was one of the ones that said I'll watch, and you were right. I'll take that L.
You know what, man? Let's give
mad
Lewis
respect.
He gets the viewer of the
day. There you go.
Helmet sticker for you. Self-awareness. Now let's move on.
Yeah, because again,
now what do we do, Neal?
The toothpaste is. Lewis M. took all the toothpaste out of the tube. What am I going to do? Chastise him? Lewis, see, I told you. You said that.
Be careful next time, Lewis. That's all it is. Be careful next time. But hey, it's the whole thing of the conversation. Yeah, I messed up, man. Sorry. I didn't mean it.
And I got nowhere to go.
What do you got for him?
Admire your character. I can tell you about my bookie. How about that? NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs. Finally, they start tonight. Baseball is here in full swing. No better place to bet on all of your favorite teams than with mybookie.com. Sign up for a new account today. Use a promo code Woodward. They'll give you some free bets. That's right, up to 50% of your original deposit when you use the promo code Woodward. Bet on anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Have a problem with gambling? Get it together. Call the Michigan Gambling Helpline, 1-800-270-7117.
At Wing Snob, staying humble's not our forte. we just have better wings. We're back at it again with our crispy golden brown fries and our famous boneless wings. Juicy, tender, hormone-free chicken. Your favorite signature sauces with no bone. Just when you thought Wing Snob couldn't get any better. Order online at wingsnob.com today. Wing Snob. We just have better wings.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome. Coming down the stretch here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty. We got Spencer here in the building. We got Sam Flannel as well. Are you guys still watching the USFL on our YouTube chat poll? 78% of you said no, you are not. Bishop, we'll ride off with this question too. As far as USFL discussion, Bishop says the real question is, if the Panthers make the playoffs, do we rally behind them and root for a championship? Now that's a different question. See, Bishop, I say this because they're 1-3, whatever they are right now. They just got their first win. Yeah, they're losing right now. I bet if they won, it would do well here. If I were a startup league, I would have made sure the Panthers
do well. It's a long
parade,
though. If we got to drive all the way down there to celebrate the parade,
where's the parade? Is it on Woodward or is it down in Alabama?
Just saying, a lot of arguing questions. Martina said something here that. See, this is where I was intrigued, but this is more, what if they did non-drafted or guys that didn't make the league, but you played for your locality? So, like, the Michigan Panthers would be made up of all Michigan college kids. You know what I'm saying? Former college kids that didn't make the shit. That would interest me to watch a little bit more because guys continue in their career, but that's sort of like the caveat, some sort of caveat to get you tuned in.
Right. And Joey,
somebody better tell me that they're playing in the playoffs or they're going for a championship.
Because I'll miss it. I'll miss it. Joey, 2 times. I always like the look of the Panthers jerseys. I do too. I have a shirt.
Is the USFL cream of wheat? Mike G wants to know. Are they the cream of wheat?
It's more of that than anything else.
More of that than anything else. Not officially, but more of that than anything else.
He said the NFL is Frosted Flakes, so would that make the USFL the Strawberry Shake Frosted Flakes?
No, because there's a segment of people. Well, you know what? Yeah, there are Strawberry Frosted Flakes.
Hey, listen, by
qualities
the way,
to it, because people like D-Mac that say, "Oh, I'm here for it, I love it," and then they'll buy a box of it, and then they'll never buy a box of it again because of people like D-Mac.
That's fair.
So yeah, I guess there is something like that.
But at least D-Mac will buy a box of it and try it, and then he'll make his decision. Because what do we do, Sam?
With new information, you're allowed to change your opinion.
Yes, you are. So that whether you bought it again or you didn't. But what happens if I would? What, Neal? What if it's the greatest thing I ever eat in my life? Right, the greatest cereal ever, and then I'm just box after box, and then they've set me on a new path. I'm willing to be that. Remember, it's May, guys. We want Maddie. Let's keep on the Kroger and see if when they're dropping those cereals, so we can do a taste test right here.
I'm not tasting that trash.
I didn't say cream of wheat, bro. I haven't even brought that in yet.
Chook Chook says, Neal, did you know that Steve Young's contract was a ruse? He only ended up getting paid $5 million. I saw that on the news. I know he's had like a $40 million annuity or whatever it was, and I don't know if it's because they went out of business or how that all shook out. I do got to check that out. I've been meaning to check that out and see what I love stuff like that. That is pretty cool. I did want to get back into the NFL draft for a little bit here because there are some stats that came out of it that were mind-blowing, but one in particular that really jumped out to me about Georgia and the Georgia Bulldogs. And I guess this was a down year for Alabama in that they only had 7 players chosen. Georgia signed 26 players in their 2018 recruiting class. 14 of them have now been drafted. Let me repeat that. They signed 26 players in their 2018 recruiting class. 14 of those 26 have been drafted to the NFL. And for those that want to have the discussion, and look, this can almost be like a PSA. And this applies to Michigan State fans. This applies to Michigan fans. Both. So you can't label this hate or anything like that. This is simply a statement of fact. Michigan State, Michigan, as far as talent acquisition goes, will never be on that level. 14 of 26 players in a recruiting class were drafted that played football for the Georgia Bulldogs. That is a level that, as I said, Michigan, Michigan State both cannot and will not get to. And we don't have to have the discussion anymore, right? Between both fan bases. We don't have to have that discussion of college football playoffs and national championship contention and all that stuff. We don't have to do that anymore, right? Does this stat, does this really hit you upside the head to say we are not swimming in those waters? Both Michigan State and Michigan. That's the level that you have to be at to win a national championship. And remember, Alabama still beat these guys once. So back it up from there. 14 of 26 players in the 2018 recruiting class were drafted that went to Georgia. That is an incredible number. That goes to show you, on paper, in print, the true difference between the teams that win the National Football Championship and the teams that think they can or envision themselves in those same waters. The gap is too wide. As Drake says, OVA, it's over.
It shows you why there's 2 or 3 top teams every year at the top. The Alabamas, the Georgias, maybe the Clemsons, who else slides in there. But it comes down to, you want to know the secret sauce, there it is. It's recruiting, right? To do it over. How do you beat the Alabamas and the Nick Sabans? Well, you do what they do, right? And then you recruit and you recruit better. And that's just an astounding number, but proofs in the pudding. And it's just not that it mattered if where they went, but this is mostly top end draft guys, right? First, second, third round guys that are going to be NFL guys. I always love, my favorite part of Monday Night Football or whatever is when they let the guys introduce themselves and they tell, whatever their name was, the U, Ohio State, Michigan, whatever, where the college or where they're from. How many times do you see, because it's more out of it, you see the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Texas
A&M.
Now it's going to be more
yeah.
This guy.
Texas A&M's coming next.
Right. I always remember, oh, man, he must have played with him. Oh, I remember those guys when they played together. Oh, I remember he played against him. Oh, they were buddies and stuff like this. Then you see more of the teams. And stuff like that. So, yeah, it's always intriguing to see, this guy's get drafted. He's the second guy ever drafted from this program. Congratulations. But at the end of the day, this is what winning is.
And Spencer just put on the poll, just a little quick one. Will MSU or Michigan ever be able to recruit on the same level as, say, Georgia? And I want to know, Brandon Katz on YouTube chat
will
thread.
They be able to, or will they ever? No, because here's the thing.
Will they ever be able to recruit like them?
Michigan could, but they won't go the extra mile with the NIL or open it up as much as Georgia or Alabama does. Open it up, what does that mean? I don't know. But you know what I mean. It's
well, here's the thing. Brandon Katz says the SEC gets away with significant payoffs and corruption every year because ESPN is in bed with them. ESPN's in bed with everybody as far as college football goes. He follows it up to say the Big Ten doesn't cheat like the SEC. There is no more cheating. There is no more cheating. It's about who wants to win more. And you know what that means. You know what I mean when I say that. Who wants to win more? What does that mean, Neal? Well, it means whatever it takes to get yourself a recruiting class where 14 of the 26 get drafted in the NFL draft.
That's an interesting question because more of the transparency is to the fact that these are 2018 recruits before NIL, right? Which is more of the glaring, yes, to what people are saying. Okay, you can probably make that speculation or allege that that's the way it is, but now the rules have changed, right? To my understanding, the rules have changed with NIL. So if you want it bad enough, you'll go out and figure out a way to make it happen. That's my opinion.
Right, and that's what DCP1 says, what makes them so much better at recruiting. I think that backs up to what your last statement. go find a way to make it happen.
Georgia's and Alabama's find a way to make it.
And
going.
Texas A&M's in the same area
And
now too. They're going to be next.
See, here's the thing, Neal. Right? Texas A&M flipped the switch because NIL they could maybe before they're not last in line, but they're down the pecking order. Well, the fact that they can step forward and they've gotten the boosters to put money in and stuff like this and say, hey, no, we want to be a contender in this game right out in the open. So now we'll see, right? Now we'll see more. And which team, because you might be able to see if there are universities or organizations that we're not talking about that want to do this other than the regular ones, because if they want it and their teams, universities want it as bad enough, the path is there. The path is there.
Do you want to act on it?
How do you make it happen?
Texas A&M's put together shell companies.
That's what I'm saying.
That distribute meal money. Yeah.
They're doing the same thing as going, okay, so here's what we can do, here's what we can't do. Oh, this is the gray area while you figure out NIL.
And
we're
guys,
not sitting around for you to make a decision. We're gonna play by the rules as you allow us to.
And guys, it's got nothing to do with academics. It's got nothing to do with admission. There's a kinesiology department at Michigan too. There's a kinesiology major that you can slide on into. They will get you in. If you're a 5-star from anywhere in America, they will get you in. They will. But you got to get them in the door. And stakes have changed with as far as how you get people in the door. Final break of the show. When we come back, we'll wrap this thing up. But right now at Planet Fitness, $0 down, $10 a month. That gets you a Planet Fitness membership with access to your home club. I was just there a couple of hours ago. We made a couple of adjustments to the cardio routine. We're going to start racking up some miles, D-Mac. We're going to start racking up some miles.
I got an announcement coming up.
All right, I
made an investment.
Yeah, we're going a little deeper. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness nearby. You're going to pass 3 of them on the way home. Minimum. Pull on in there. Join up there. $0 down, $10 a month. Get access to the home club, as we said. Black card option, $22.99 a month. Still less than $1 a day. Get you access to over 2,000 Planet Fitnesses around the world with unlimited guest privileges. You can join in club or online at planetfitness.com. Planet Fitness, D-Mac, where your fitness
is essential.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risk, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
The official sticker partner of Woodward Sports. When it comes to stickers and signage, think Sticker Genius. We support this local Detroit business, and we are excited to show you our latest project, the Planet Fitness Studio from Sticker Genius. If you need custom stickers, wall graphics, window graphics, and plenty more, reach out to our friends at Sticker Genius. We at Woodward Sports couldn't be any happier with the service they provided us. They were quick, easy to deal with, and super professional. Head to stickergenius.com today.
Neal Ruhl here for Chili Peppers Tanning. Join the Pepper Club at Chili Peppers Tanning. They'll get all the best deals. They'll beat the competitors by at least $5. They have the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans. They have 26 locations. There's more on the way. Find the one closest to you. Go to chilipepperstanning.com. Pulling up on the end of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Spencer, Sam Flannel. And just want to take a minute, too, for what happened over the weekend with the Woodward Sports NFL draft coverage. I know we said it on Friday, and all of you that showed up at the brass rail, you guys blew it up. There was nowhere to move in that place. Come to find out, there was nowhere to move on YouTube as well. Tens of thousands of you watching the show on Thursday. Tens of thousands of you tapping back in on Friday. Our shows on Friday were the most watched, the most listened to shows in Woodward Sports Network history, even into Saturday. did kind of like a draft wrap-up thing on YouTube. You guys all tapped into that as well. Appreciate you. Real talk. We're next, guys. The old ways of hosts that are on the air and telling you why did the Lions give up 3 draft picks for Jamison Williams when I had to break it down for you for real. Those days are over. You guys are here.
To hear from you.
Oh, we love. What do you think? I appreciate every single one of you guys. Even the guys even the ones that make fun of me. I appreciate you for sure, and thank you guys. It was viewership wise our most successful weekend we've ever had here at Woodward. So appreciate y'all. Real talk.
No,
just wanted to get that out there.
Unbelievable. We can't do it without anybody of you guys out there. Woodward Sports Network, about the people, and the events keep coming up. We'll keep showing out. You guys keep showing up too, and we'll have a lot of fun. And Brandon, I did not say. I agree that Michigan in the past and the SEC did not operate the same way, but they can play under the same rules now where it's more...
Now it's about your desire.
Michigan just won't step out of image. Yeah. Even though they have the... Like, that's the thing that blows me away with Anderson and everything else like that, and the image, there's a certain image that they want to portray, yet they won't go out and do what needs to be done.
And that's the most maddening thing.
I get it before the rules. Well, you couldn't. Okay, now you can, and other teams are doing it, and you're still not doing it. So you were never going to do it because you're not committed to winning like they are. Like it or not, you don't like it. You're just not committed at the top to winning like the Alabamas, like the Georgias are. The Texas A&M's doing whatever it takes.
Right, and that's the thing that gets me frustrated about the way Michigan operates. And you guys label me a hater and all that stuff, but I see what you guys do. You guys pack that stadium all the time. You guys buy all the gear. You guys talk about it on social media all the time. You guys do that.
This is our year.
But they do. I mean, Michigan fans, they're a very loyal fan base. They show out. And
isn't it the same stuff we say about the Lions about keep showing up to them and then the things won't change? Keep showing up to Ford Field. Now things have changed a little, but it used to be in the past. Why would they change anything?
But
because
Michigan,
you keep buying their stuff and saying it's the same thing in Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan limits Michigan.
Yes. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the get over yourself. Who said it in here? Chuck said it. Get over yourself.
Right.
They need to get over themselves, because here's the thing: I'm not saying anything that can't be accomplished. Do you not think the leaders and the best, if they put their head down and got everybody around and said, "We want to do it like they're doing"?
If Michigan stood up today, if they stood up today and said, "You know what? We're going to be like Texas A&M. We got 30 shell companies that are lined up. They're going to sell. They're going to sign guys to Instagram name, image, and likeness deals for $5 million a piece." If Michigan organized that today, they win a national championship in 3 years. Alreal talk. They would. If they said, and look at the resources that Michigan has around the globe. You don't think that's Michigan
alums, and I think that's what's the frustrating thing, right? Because you watch these other programs doing whatever they do with their boosters and stuff like that. You look at Michigan State, you look at Matt Ishba retaining Tuck, all this sort of stuff. It's because any of us know that's the monolith in the
You don't think
city.
Michigan alums have that capability?
No. I don't.
Really? I'm talking about just from a capability standpoint.
I wish that they'd get all together. I wish looking at Braylon as he's getting ready for the bottom line, you can join him, Ryan, and Maz at 2 to 4. I wish they'd all get together.
That's my frustration with Michigan. What? That's my frustration with Michigan.
I think that is the frustration. Why we sort of, are hard on them or whatever. It's because you could be this. In my mind, you could be.
But they don't want to.
It could be Georgia and Alabama, and it could be you and A&M and You're going to get lost behind, and then we still do the same things. Because don't we do the same things year after year?
Certainly we do. On our YouTube chat thread, NFL Draft Junkie, Woodward fans blew it up like a Packers fan's toilet. I don't know what that means, but I guess it's... Yeah, I guess. Rack says, great content, gets rewarded. Jack Harrington says, Adam made Thursday's show, Neal. Can't disagree with that. He was on another planet on Thursday.
Great timing with this Montana and drafting the cocaine when Hutchinson picked. I laughed. I play that video over and laugh. And here's the one thing. Whether you like Adam, whether you don't, as far as his opinions, dude, he is one of the best. And the entertainment on the daily from what you get in the morning show, but what everything he puts in behind it, and to the fact it's piece of the puzzle, just like you guys are. Without all of us together, it doesn't happen. But Neal, I've been to a lot of draft parties and stuff like that. That one was fun.
Yeah.
And energetic, and hopefully it's a mirror to what's the future of the Lions are.
Absolutely. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Big viewership numbers again today. We certainly do appreciate that. So for D-Mac, for Sam Flannel, for Spencer Raxter, my name's Neal Ruhl. Thanks for tapping in to Big D Energy on the Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.